Well, hello, everybody. Welcome. And I am here with special guest, Dr. Corey Allen from Sexy Marriage Radio. He is graciously um, given up some of his time to join us today. And he leads one of the top podcasts in the nation, in the world, on marriage, family, sex. And he has actually been to Freedom and preached before, but I also know many of you, it's your first introduction to Corey. So one, Corey, welcome, and thank you for
Thanks.
being on the show.
Oh, this will be fun.
Tell us just a little bit about Sexy Marriage, not just the podcast, Sexy Marriage Nation.
Yeah, so SMR Nation is what we call anybody that listens or is any part of the nation of what we do and what we're trying to do. It's a weekly show. It's really what it's all based out of. My wife is my co-host. It's been going on for 8.5 years now, and it is just straightforward, honest conversations about married life and sex. And we've really stumbled in lately of we are the place. If you've got a question you want to ask and you don't know where to ask it, we'll answer it. That it'll
Yeah.
be honest, it'll be helpful, it'll be health and pro-marriage based with some Christian spirituality truths sprinkled in. So
Yeah. What I love about Corey is one, he's real. And so he's open, he's vulnerable. At the same time, he will challenge you. He's not going to let you just skate by. And he'll keep it clean too. So when you ask the questions, he's going to be real. There's no fluff. But at the same time, when you're talking about these subjects, sometimes you're like, I don't know of a clean place to go. What's the
right.
perspective or anything like that? And you're not necessarily throwing the Bible at people or anything like that at all. Like, it's just like, let's just deal with life. Here it
On
is.
most of the stuff when it comes to sex, you really can't throw the Bible at people because it's not really specifically talked about.
Exactly. And you're not afraid to go there. Like, that's the thing that people love, and why you're one of the best at it is you're not afraid to talk about stuff. So I want to jump in to our topic and our time today is quarantine date night, or date ideas, because it may be during the day too, but we're home now.
Right.
And the game has changed. We can't go out, or at least there's severe restrictions. And so going to the expert, going to you, want to know, how can you help us build our marriage, and how can we connect and have some intimacy when we're all together?
Well, I think first and foremost, there's two different paths to kind of look at when we're talking about close proximity, forced time, if you will,
Yeah.
because we normally likely all have the rhythms of we're apart for large chunks of the day. We make touch points throughout the day via phone, text, or in person if we get a chance to meet for meals or something, and then we get together and it's a shortened, condensed pressure cooker, if you will. And so now when you have confined time, one, there's still tremendous importance to having some structure and some schedule to it, to where like in my home, the kids not being in school and I have teenagers, we're not strict on bedtime with them. They stay up. They're watching TV because I'm letting them sleep in. They're getting schoolwork and different things done during the day. But Pam and I still try to have a set, let's go back to bed. So if nothing else, we get a little bit of time. And it might be for sex, but most of the time it's just to connect. It's just we walk into the room and we close the door, and that's it. It's our time for a little while before one of us falls asleep, typically her, because it's tax season. So she's killing herself during the day. Anyway, but so scheduled time is good to figure out how can I get that. And then the other is stealing time, which if you're in out of the normal pattern, how do you steal a moment with your spouse? It could be for a quick conversation. It could be for a little bit of a kiss, a little bit of flirtatious movement, something. It could be for flat out sex, even, but it's just, you can occupy the kids with a game or a movie or something, and then steal a little bit of time. And maybe we won't get this long drawn out like it's a date night where it all can just unfold seamlessly, but having the opportunity to steal those little moments or quick little dates, if you will.
Yeah.
And then And then also built into that is have some structure of, if you've got extended time, have some additional structure of, we get to do meals together. And as a family, that's still, in my opinion, that's dating each other. Of you get
Okay.
to hang out on the bigger picture together, and you get to both parent together, and you get to both connect. And depending on the stage of your children, maybe they dismiss from the table and you hang out for a little bit longer, get a little conversations that you would have normally not been able to have.
Yeah. So I like what you're saying is like these, in a sense, these dates or these connections, they don't have to be long drawn out things. They could
Right.
be a look in the eye or a flirtatious look or something physical or a hug, but just
Right.
little, they could be seconds or they could be longer periods of time.
Yeah, I think they're better. It's almost like they're good touch points. And whether that's a literal touch or a metaphorical touch or a visual touch, an emotional touch, I think all of that matters. And just how you're being intentional to put that in, to keep the connection, to keep the interaction, to keep the energy that can be there. Because, I mean, with the state of the way the states are right now, um, everybody's inconvenienced. And so we have to look at it at, okay, I can't do life like I normally had. All right, this is either a tremendous inconvenience or an adventure. And I can see, what could we do out of this? What kind of games can we pull out that we've not ever played? I mean, perhaps I just now thinking this as we're talking, I'm wondering if I could get Pam convinced into a little bit of a strip Monopoly game, something, because that takes a while, right?
Yeah.
But it's just, is there stuff that you could do that is a little different, that adds a different level of novelty, that is stealing time also?
Yeah. And I would say this too, with parents of like little kids where you are the caregiver. You can't,
Right.
you got to be there on all the time. That's pressure when you just anyway, right? But that's
Right.
part of life. They got to deal with it.
Right.
But there's, I would say in some ways, and you got to be careful how you say this, but like if they're watching, if you put on a show for 30 minutes and that you don't guilt yourself, I guess, is to say, hey, that is not was part of our normal routine.
Right.
Normally
Right.
I wouldn't do this, but my number one priority is my relationship with my spouse. In fact, if I want to have be a healthy parent to my kids and lead them during this time, then me and my spouse need to have a healthy. The healthier we are, the healthier it's
Yeah.
going to be for them. And I know like you like to go on is a healthier me.
Yep.
I got to take care of me.
Yep.
So sometimes you might have to take a break just for yourself away from everybody else, so you
Yeah.
can have some me time, which kind of gets me to where I want to talk to. How do you communicate these things to your spouse? Because okay, I thought we were going to connect, but you want maybe some me time, or you didn't receive that touch very well. And now we're trying to not just last a weekend together.
Right.
We are days on end now. I don't go to work now. We're all here together in this thing together for days on end. Give me some ideas on how we can communicate with one
Okay.
another, especially when the tensions rise.
Yeah. So first and foremost, the hope would be that this whole aspect and season that we're in, or stage that we're in, as families, is seasoned with grace, right? Because whenever things get upended and are stressful, we don't react well. Our fuses get short, right? We're testy, we're temperamental, we're moody. Depending on where you are, what the weather's like where you guys are, outside could be a good deal. It may not be. It may not even be recommended.
Yeah.
So recognizing that sometimes I'm not going to be at my best. So how can I be gracious towards my spouse because they're going to be in the same boat, right? The other thing is to recognize, how do I communicate this? Everything I do communicates anyway. So how do I just make sure I'm handling and being clean about the message as best as possible? which sometimes means, you know what, I need a moment just for me. So I'm going to take 20 minutes and just go read, or I'm just going to go play a game, or I'm just going to go put my head down and close my eyes for a second. And then I'm back, so just kind of being more overt and proactive about, here's what I'm looking for. The reverse is also true of, I need a moment just with you. And how can we make that happen? How can, I want to be able to steal time with you. And because all of that is communication, one, but if you think about it, if you're, I'll meddle just real quick between you and Rita. If you are interested in time with her and trying to steal a little moment with her, would you say, they don't have to answer this, but just as an example, you had the choice of either being upfront about it or hovering around her, right? And that's still communicating, I want time with you, I'm looking for you, I'm whatever. And we don't think of it on that level, that a lot of times a hovering around a spouse is not intended or received as, oh, you long for me, you love me, you want to hang out with me. It's usually, what do you want? Get away from me. Right? So it's just recognizing, what's my role in this, to see it as, I'm communicating something already. How do I just make sure I'm cleaner? Because when you are in these kinds of close confined times, we need margins from other people, from our children, from each other, and sometimes even from ourselves, right? And so how do I do this to where I'm kind of navigating and bouncing through this as clean as I can, and being as upfront and gracious as I can? Because hopefully you reach the point where my wife and I will actually just say to each other, I got to get away from you for a little bit. And that's not an offensive statement.
Yeah,
that's
you don't go pout the rest of the day.
I get you. I'm glad you're going. Sometimes that can happen, and sometimes like, cool, I'll see you later. But it's figuring out what's your language and how do I just be better with it is the main goal.
Yeah, and I want to say too, like we're two guys here, two husbands. If our wives that are in the room and in this conversation, they're going to have some different unique ideas on that. So guys, if you're listening to this, like, you got to understand your wife is craving these same things, and she's going to speak it in a different way than Corey and I are. They may listen to this and be like, right. But I want to empower the wives. If you need some time alone, speak up. But husbands, be gracious in hearing those things and lead in those things. And guys, speak up if you want to connect or if you need to disconnect. Like, whoever you are, I'd say, especially in this time, be, like Corey said, be clear,
right?
But also be gracious on the receiving end, but also, I think you said cleaner, right? In how you deliver that. But we gotta step up, getting out of people's heads,
and then and realize in pressure cooker, high stress moments, we're gonna suck at this at times. so that's okay. It's like, all right, I did not do that well. I apologize. And then you recover and you keep going, because married life, to me, a marker of a great marriage is we recover well. We don't always do it right, but we recover. That's the goal.
Yeah. Well, listen, Corey, I appreciate just even this short time that we had together. I hope this gives you guys just a little bit of insight on how you can handle yourself better. Maybe you're not receiving things well, or maybe you're not communicating clearly, but this is on you. Like, you have to work on you. This isn't hey, husband, wife, watch this and fix it. This is you, and you work on you. You make a better you. That's going to help you. That's going to help your marriage. That's going to help your relationship with God. That's going to help you parent better. Now, here's the surprise. Here's the thing that I'm excited about, of what an online church allows us to do. In a couple weeks, I don't have a specific date yet, but we'd like to meet with Corey again for a late night one, when the kids are abed or are in bed, because we'd like to do an unrated, clean but unrated sex Q&A. I bet you've never had a pastor or a church that's like, hey, let's just go for it. You got a question, ask it. We couldn't do a sermon on this if I put my life on it at Freedom Church, like on a Sunday in front of everyone. Hey, we're doing open sex Q&A. Come on in. People know we can't do that. But online church is a perfect place to do this. So here's what's going to happen on our website, freedomla.church/questions, and I'll post the link on here so you can go. For the next week, you can submit anonymous questions there. We'll provide other places where you can ask questions, but it may not be the anonymous type. Like, there's your name and there's your question. If you're fine with that, go for it. But we're going to provide a space. If we ask questions and you have questions, and you can share it with friends and they can ask questions and whatever, we will answer them live late night, and we'll be real. And Corey's going to answer them because I'm not. He's the expert. But we'll go through.
I was kind of excited you were saying we. I'm like, sweet.
I might be backpedaling that back. I'll just take notes. But this is something that, well, here's the deal. Like, it's real life, and we're home together. And sex questions, who initiates, who doesn't, trying to navigate all those things. You're having trouble with just regular communication. I need time together, don't, or whatever. Take all that in a box and shake it up. And that's how you're dealing with sex right now and trying to figure these things out. And in a couple of weeks, we're going to be like, I have some questions. So do me a favor, hit the link, and throughout this week, ask questions. They're going to be anonymous. I promise. I don't even care who asks it. I just want the questions, because if you're having the questions, guarantee you probably someone else is. And this is the space. This is the time to do it. You may never have another time to do it. So I want to encourage you to do that. Corey, you have any other encouragement or thoughts on that?
No, other than the fact that it's such a normal thing, because I get the privilege here in this area. Within the last calendar year, I've been able to speak at either a different little marriage thing or moms groups is where I go a lot of times, especially in February because it's Valentine's Day. So we talk marriage, and I come in for sex Q&As, and it's truly what questions you got. And a lot of them are submitted ahead of time. And some of the ladies are brave enough to just, they'll ask it right there. But I actually put them on smrnation.com, and I think it's like 145, 146 questions. This is what Christians are asking. And so there's a ton out there that people have questions of, and we want to, as a service here at Sexy Marriage Radio, we want to help people experience all that God's created. And sex is definitely one of them that we don't talk enough about, and let's talk about it.
Is that on a blog post at sexymarriagenation.com? smrnation.com?
Yeah, it's
okay,
at smrnation.com.
Okay, go to smrnation.com. Look through there. You can find the podcast. That's where you can really dive in and hear way more content than beyond here. If you're dealing with some of these things, go through the whole shows and you'll find, hey, I'm dealing with this. Listen to it. And it sparks some great conversations between you and your spouse. Find that blog post, go through the questions, say, yep, I got that question, submit them. And let's have a great conversation about this. So I'm looking forward to it. Corey, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. This is fun.
Yeah. Well, you're going to be helping a lot of people on this. And as you continue to do on the podcast, always helping people. So thank you for giving of your time and doing what you do. I want to say thank you so much for taking the time to listen to the message today. I hope you felt inspired to take your next step of faith with Jesus. Just a couple next steps that you can take coming out of this. One, leave a review or a comment or share this message. That really does spread the message further and faster when you do that. Secondly, if there's a next step that you need to take coming out of this, head on over to our website, click Get Involved, and let us know exactly how you can take your next step. We would love to partner with you in that. And finally, if you have been impacted in a positive way through our ministries, or your family has been impacted in a positive way through our ministries, go on over to our website and click Give. And if you want to partner with us financially, that would be huge in getting the message of Jesus out through our ministries. Thank you again for stopping by the podcast. Have a wonderful week. God bless.